Hi everyone, welcome to the 2019 Service Unit Cookie Training. This is for the booth coordinator position. Thank you all for coming on tonight. We are going to take a quick look at the agenda. First, we're going to meet the product program team. We're going to briefly talk about the 2019 cookie program theme and dates, discuss the service unit booth coordinator role, the cookie booth guidelines and safety tips, ways to help troops get booth sale ready, how to do smart cookies, booth uploads, some contests and promotions, online resources, a little handy timeline, and then at the end we'll open it up for questions. If you have a question and you don't want to forget it, you can type it in the chat box and then we will go through questions during the question answer period. And just so you know, we are recording the webinar so that we can go back later, and for folks who couldn't attend tonight can watch it later on, and you can always go back to watch. Okay, so let's meet the team. Your service unit booth coordinator first point of contact is going to be Shannon Van Allen. She's been the one emailing you, and she's going to be your first person to reach out to in the product program team. After her, there's myself, Rebecca Frazetta, Product Program Manager, and you all should know Arnice Stevenson, Product Program Specialist. We also do have Kathy Gleason here from ABC Bakery listening in, so she can always chime in at the end as well if she needs to clarify anything or answer questions. Okay, so our 2019 cookie theme is Inspire, Imagine, and Innovate with Nellie the Narwhal. The cookie sale will begin on Thursday, July 17th and end on Sunday, March 10th. Now, Arnice is going to talk a little bit about the service unit booth coordinator role.
Okay, hello everyone. So first I'm going to go over what the service unit booth coordinator is responsible for. So the service unit booth coordinator is responsible for the following: finding locations in their service unit area for cookie booth locations, contacting and confirming potential booth locations. They're responsible for training troops and Juliets about booth etiquette and safety guidelines, supporting troops and Juliets throughout the cookie program with booth opportunities. The service unit booth coordinator is responsible for assigning booths to troops in a fair manner. They're also responsible for serving as a liaison between local businesses and Girl Scouts. Both coordinators will have direct contact with store managers and should have troops direct any issues with stores with booth coordinators. Also, they will serve as a liaison between troops and council. They are responsible for adhering to set guidelines for council-sponsored booths and being mindful of deadlines for assigning troops to booths. They're also responsible for resolving any conflicts that may arise during the cookie program involving cookie booths. Finding cookie booth locations. So you're going to start by making a list of ideal locations within the cities and towns that are part of your service unit. Here are some commonly used locations. I won't read all of them, but just to point out a few. So skating rinks, banks, health clubs, libraries, schools, firehouses, bingo game nights, and also beauty salons. So you can also use the sample letter on the back page of the Service Unit Booth Coordinator Guidebook or the Save the Date / Thank You cards that will be given to your Service Unit Cookie Manager, the contact sites, and ask for permission to hold cookie booths. If you need this letter in PDF format, you can find it also on the GSE SNJ Cookies app. The 5 essential skills in cookie booths. When reaching out to prospective cookie booth locations, you can remind store owners and managers that cookie booths can create a positive image for the store and that the Girl Scout cookie program allows girls to develop skills that will benefit them throughout their personal and professional lives, while also having fun. The 5 business skills include goal setting, decision making, money management, people skills, and business ethics. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to go over some alternate cookie booth locations. So if your service unit has limited or no retail locations for booths, you can get creative and try alternate booths. So you could try drive-through cookie booths, sidewalk cookie booths, sporting and special events, or decorate your car. You can also refer to your guidebook for more details about these alternate cookie booths.
So just to interject, can everyone still hear? We're noticing on the chat room that somebody can't. Okay, so we're going to keep going.
Okay. So scheduling and assigning booths to troops. So cookie booths can be scheduled in 60, 90, or 120-minute intervals. Shorter times, though, allow to enable more troops to participate. You'll also complete the approval process with each site, decide how you will assign troops to booths, provide detailed instructions to the troops, and then inform businesses of any cancellations or changes. Please note, when it comes to family or friend-owned businesses, troops that have connections with them should keep the service unit booth coordinator informed of any scheduled booth sales. Resolving conflicts. In the event that a troop finds themselves in conflict with other over a cookie booth, the following steps must be taken. Troops should contact the service unit cookie booth coordinator. They should remind all parties to remain calm. They should determine that the parties involved and also contact your SUM if necessary. They need to limit the involvement of the store manager of the business and to strive for a quick and peaceful resolution. Okay, and now I'm going to hand it over to Rebecca. She's going to talk about cookie booth guidelines and safety tips.
Okay, so cookie booth guidelines. We went too far. Go back. Yeah. Okay, go back 2 more. Yep. Nope, 1 more. Okay, all girls who attend a cookie booth must be a registered member for the 2019 Girl Scout year. All adults that handle cookie money or chaperone girls at the cookie booth must also be registered for the 2019 year and have a background check. A minimum of 2 adults must be present for every cookie booth at all times, and that includes Juliet. They also must have 2 adults present who are background and registered if they are going to be handling the money and chaperoning. All troops are to remain within the jurisdiction of GSCSNJ unless permission has been granted from the product program team, and girls should be wearing an official Girl Scout uniform, tunic, sash, vest, or other Girl Scout article of clothing. Cookies must also be sold for $4 a box and the gluten-free chocolate chip for $5 per package. Additional cookie booth guidelines. Girl Scouts in their role as Girl Scouts may not raise or solicit money for others and therefore may not sell or promote products for other organizations at a cookie booth. And that can include a Boy Scout fundraiser, American Heart Association, a run or a walk. The only approved donations that can be accepted are for the GSCSNJ Cookie Share program. Selling in front of liquor stores, bars, or marijuana dispensaries, although they are not here yet, they may be by January, is prohibited. Girls should not sell in or in front of an establishment that they themselves cannot legally patronize. Safety tips. So, to make sure our girls are safe, there must be at least 2 adults and 1 girl at the booth at all times. Be especially careful with the money box. Make sure it's under adult supervision and out of public sight. Remember to lock car doors and hide cookies and cash from plain sight. Ensure that you have adequate space at the booth to allow for safe passage by pedestrians and cars. Report any suspicious people in the area to local security. And should any passerbys harass or intimidate anyone, inform the store manager immediately. You should always make sure that the girls and adults are wearing warm layers of clothing, and they should have a hat and gloves and dress appropriately for the weather. Booth etiquette. You also want to remind the girls to respect the surrounding businesses and make sure they're not blocking any doorways. Smile and remind them to be polite even if they are not getting a sale. Thank the customer whether they buy cookies or not, and keep your booth area clean. You should also respect other troop sales times, and that means possibly starting to break down 5 or 10 minutes before your time slot ends so that you can be ready to go and the new troop is ready to take over at their assigned slot. Notify the store manager on arrival or departure, and pass along any pertinent information to the troop that comes in for the next shift. You can also contact the business to inform them of any changes or cancellations. Council-sponsored booth sales. This year, we are happy to announce that we are partnering with Wawa, Acme, Dunkin' Donuts, Jo-Ann Fabrics, and Boscov's. All council-sponsored booths will be handled directly through council, and you should remind your troops to not reach out to your individual locations should they fall in your service unit. Service units who are eligible to will receive a list of locations from Shannon with dates and time slots, and you will then have time to assign your troops and send it back to council so we can notify those locations by the requested deadline. If service units are unable to fill the time slots, we ask that you share them with neighboring service units to ensure that no booth is left unfilled. Please be mindful of booth deadlines for the assignments, as each location is different, and due to high demand, we do not want to leave booth time slots open. Again, this year we have a national Walmart and Sam's Club agreement. Currently, the agreement is pending, and while it does ask that stores allow girls and troops to sell, it does not guarantee booths. At the final approval is at the discretion of each individual store manager. So at the time of this training, it's approved. It's all set. So we do have the agreement should you need it. You can just email Shannon. Sharing booths. So sharing booths with neighborhood service units. Service units are encouraged to offer unfilled booth slots to neighboring service units. All sharing of booth locations should be handled between the service unit booth coordinators for each service unit. Booths outside of council jurisdiction. If a troop has been offered the opportunity to sell at a location outside of our council's territory, the troop should first contact you, the service unit booth coordinator, and give them all of the information on the date, time, and location. The service unit booth coordinator will then contact customer care or Shannon with this request. The product program team will handle all communications between the neighboring councils. Unless permission has been granted, troops should not proceed with booth plans outside of the council area. Now Shannon is going to talk a little bit about how to get troops ready, booth sale ready.
This cookie season, your volunteers and Girl Scouts may be asked questions like, why Girl Scouts? How is Girl Scouts different from Boy Scouts? Or what do you like about Girl Scouts? Or even, what do you think about Boy Scouts letting girls participate in its program? Here are a few things you can say in response. 1, Girl Scouts is the best leadership experience for girls in the world, period. Designed specifically with, by, and for girls, every GIRL. 2, pro tip, always stay positive. Don't put other organizations down. Simply raise Girl Scouts up. 3, Girl Scouts is fun with a purpose. Everything a Girl Scout does centers on 4 program pillars: science, technology, engineering, and math, STEM. The outdoors, life skills, and entrepreneurship, preparing girls for a lifetime of leadership, success, and adventure. 4, Girl Scouts is the only place where girls can work toward and earn the Gold Award, one of the most prestigious awards for girls in the world, and a great boost when it comes to applying for college and scholarships, establishing a lifetime network, and so much more. You will be able to find this PDF handout on your GSCS NJ Cookies app to be printed and given to your troops. Next, I'm going to talk about Smart Cookies booth upload. Service unit booth coordinators can easily upload cookie booths into Smart Cookies by doing the following. 1, enter all booth location information into the Excel spreadsheet that we will send to you. The spreadsheet must have the proper headers in order to prepare the file to be uploaded into Smart Cookies. A sample booth upload template spreadsheet can be found on the GSCS NJ Cookies app. Please don't hesitate to contact the product program team if you have questions or issues. 2, once your spreadsheet is ready, you will follow the steps in the uploading booths into Smart Cookies tutorial. That has been uploaded on the GSCS NJ Cookies app under the Smart Cookies Guides tab. Please don't hesitate to contact the product program team if you have any questions or issues. So why should service unit cookie booth coordinators enter cookie booths into Smart Cookies? It's simple, so that customers can find their favorite cookies during our program. Booths uploaded into Smart Cookies will display on the GSUSA Cookie Booth Locator, where customers can enter in their zip code online or on the Booth Locator app to find a cookie booth nearest them. The Booth Locator uploads every 15 minutes from Smart Cookies. If a troop is unable to attend their booth, you should make sure to remove their booth from Smart Cookies. New for 2019, troops can share their booth sale information on social media. Troops can access their booth reservations grid, click on their social media icon above the grid, and then they are asked to log in the social media account where the booth will be posted with their sales dates, times, and mapping features to provide instructions to consumers. Now our niece is going to talk about some awesome contests and promotions we have going on this year.
Okay, so contests and promotions. So we're bringing back the Buy 5 contest again. So this is for customers who purchases 5 or more packages in a single transaction. They will be able to enter a drawing for a free year of cookies. Entries for that drawing will be accepted from January 17th through March 10th, and the drawing will be on March 22nd. Okay. So another promotion that we have again this year is the Cookie Share Patch. So Girl Scouts of Central and Southern New Jersey partners with the Red Cross of Joint Base McGuire Dix Lakehurst to provide the Cookie Share program. Girls that collect money towards donated boxes of cookies, that's for troops that collect 4 cases or more, will earn the Cookie Share Patch for every girl participating in the troop. So last year we hit over our goal, and we did 2,513 cases that were donated. So that was awesome. So this year we made our goal to be 2,700 cases. So this year GSUSA has a new Cookie Pro contest, and they're celebrating it in a big way. We are encouraging troops to get creative and design their own superhero theme. So since they're having a Cookie Pro contest, we're going to have troops create their own superhero themed cookie booth. So be creative, have fun. Girls are encouraged to think outside the box to show their inner Girl Scout superhero. Submissions will be accepted from January 17th through March 10th. And there'll be more information about the Cookie Pro contest at girlscouts.org/cookiepro. So we're blending them two. We're going to let them celebrate. Since GSUSA is celebrating it, we're going to have our own cookie booth contest that celebrates superheroes. And here's more details about the cookie booth contest. So like we usually do, we always pick from 5 troops. And this year, the prize will be a water bottle. So we don't have a water bottle, I believe, on our order card this year. So we're doing it for the cookie booth contest. So hopefully more people will participate. We've been doing it for the past 3 years. So every year more and more people participate. When it comes to posting your submissions for the cookie booth contest, you're going to do it in the chat room called Cookie Booth Contest on the Cookies app. You'll upload the pictures of the booth, your troop number, the leader's name, and then the number of girls that are in the troop. And submissions will be taken from January 17th through March 10th. Okay, cookie booth rentals. We're doing cookie booth rentals again. We currently have the following items available for you to borrow, and that are cookie costumes and cash boxes. To request cookie booth rentals, please use the link that is on the GSC SNJ Cookies app. Troops can request to borrow 2 costumes at a time in a cash box. Please note that these supplies are on a limited and first come, first served basis. Okay, so the Square card reader. I know most troops have Square card readers already, but if they do not have a Square card reader, please submit. They can apply to use the Square card reader, and we're going to have that application up on our Cookies app. I will say that it's very beneficial to have one because a lot of times people don't have cash, and especially with the Buy 5 contest, it helps troops upsell and have customers buy more than one packages of cookies. Okay, so now I'm going to return it over to Rebecca, and she's going to finish the training with some online resources and a checklist of activities.
So as you've heard, we keep referring to this GFCS NJ Cookies app. Service units and troops can use the Cookies app to find more information throughout the cookie program. Service unit booth coordinators can sign up for the booth coordinators exclusive chat room. This collaborative chat room will allow booth coordinators to ask questions and communicate with other booth coordinators in the council. The Cookies app can be used on mobile devices as well as any device with an internet access such as laptops and desktops. The Cookies app, you can see, can be accessed at gfcsnjcookies.teamapp.com. And if you're looking to download it on your phone, you have to download Team App first, then search for GFCS NJ Cookies. This is an important resource to have as all documents go on this app, alerts about the weather and trucks and so much more. So next is just going to give you a little timeline of some activities to help get you through the cookie program. So between October and December, there's a little checklist of things you should be doing. If your service unit has a list of booths from last year, you can review that list, create a list of successful and unsuccessful booths, and work from there. You can map out a list of potential new cookie booths in your area. Then once you have that and you're ready to go, you can contact store owners for cookie booths utilizing these save the date cards that we're giving or the sample letter. So just as an FYI, we are going to print out the service unit guide for you, as well as give each service unit 25 postcard size save the date thank yous for you to hand something to your businesses. On the one side, it leaves a little bit of room so that you can write your own little note, write your own email and phone number. Those are going to be left for your cookie managers next week to pick up at training, and then at service centers to pick up as well. After you've gotten your locations, you want to create a schedule for confirmed cookie booths in your area. Select a date to hold your cookie booth lottery for your service unit. Usually that's during one of your monthly service unit meetings. And then go over guidelines for participating in cookie booths with your troop leaders. So January through March, the program has started, so you want to maintain the schedule of booths throughout the cookie program. You want to continually schedule troops for local booth sales that have popped up, as well as council-sponsored booths by the deadlines. You want to keep troops up to date with any openings and handle any ongoing issues that may arise at cookie booths. Finally, you want to conduct an end-of-program evaluation of cookie booth locations, and if possible, have troops fill out a log with cookie totals to determine the success of a cookie booth. If a site wasn't successful, you may not want to utilize it again next year. And finally, you can thank your store owners for allowing troops to hold cookie booths, and you can ask your troops to take part in this as well. Maybe if you have your spreadsheet of businesses, you can have some troops create thank you cards that you can send out to them. Okay, so what we're going to do first is just read through the chat questions. We've seen a lot of questions kind of be posted, so we're going to read them and then give a quick answer, and then we can see what else we have.
Before we get into the questions, I just want to speak about the Cookies app. We deleted mostly everything off of it from last year, so we'll be updating all the chat rooms and all the information that you need by the end of this week. So I just wanted to let you guys know that.
Okay, so one of the first questions we saw, will these slides be shared with us after the webinar? Yes, I will have Shannon email everybody who participated tonight with the slides, as well as the link for the recording. Will eventually be on the app as we work to update it in the next 2 weeks, but we will send you out immediately the slides.
Yes. And we'll also be sending out a link to the agreement form. So instead of printing agreement forms, we're doing kind of what we did last year when I was like swamped. I couldn't have you guys email me the agreement forms. It was easier just to do it as a Google form. So I created one for the booth coordinators and for the service unit cookie managers. So the booth coordinators, you guys will be getting the recorded presentation, the slides, and the link for the agreement form either by tomorrow or Friday.
Yeah, and we'll also send you out the guide by the end of the week as well, so you don't have to wait for your printed copy next week. Okay, the next question, can we not schedule booths over 2 hours? You can. You can schedule your booths for whatever time period your service unit deems reasonable. We just say that, you know, shorter times allow for more booth sale opportunities. So it depends on the size of your service unit and how you typically run. If 3-hour booth slots work best for you, then that is fine to do that. The question, we have almost lost booth locations because of rude troop leaders, adults, and or unruly scouts. Can we ban or remove troops from future booths if we hear negative feedback? So I wouldn't necessarily jump to automatically banning them. I believe what you can do is limit the amount of girls and adults who attend a booth. Honestly, there shouldn't really be more than 4 at a time anyway. And I would possibly have that conversation with them and explain that you know, they're kind of on a probation, that you've had complaints, and that their troop is allowed to attend with no more than 4 girls, and you can kind of do it on a case-by-case basis. I would give them the benefit of the doubt and maybe kind of give them another chance to show maybe they just didn't understand. So there's definitely a training moment in there before we just automatically ban them. If it's a continual issue, then yes, we can absolutely talk with your service unit support specialist and have a meeting with those troops and go from there. Both adults must be background checked, ? So I believe basically the basic rule is that if an adult is handling money and chaperoning children, they need to be background checked and registered. So looking at it this way, if you have 2 adults there and 4 girls, and one adult who is background checked needs to go to the bathroom or take girls to the bathroom or go to the next store to get something to eat or drink, you're left with the one person who is not registered and background checked. You're putting your troop at risk for financial issues in that case. So we do require that 2 adults are there at all times, whereas it's up to your discretion that if you're leaving somebody there to handle money and chaperone girls while the other leader goes, then you need to make sure that they are. If you only have one person who's registered and background checked attending, you kind of run into a little bit of a pickle. So it's good to have multiple people there, if possible, to just kind of back you up. If a family member owns a store outside of the service unit, can they set up a box at the store? So yes, we did have a slide on that. We just ask that you notify your service unit booth coordinator so that that booth coordinator can notify the coordinator in that other service unit, because they want to give them, you can't say no, that service unit can't say no that they can't do it because the family owns a store, but we want to give them the courtesy of letting them know that a troop is going to be there. Let's see. The slides by email. Yep, we're going to email you. You know, I see we've had troops that have lost me booths from last year. I think this is definitely something that you can discuss with your service unit troop support specialist and decide how you want to move forward. You can kind of give them a, this is your last chance. You get 1 booth sale and we see how it goes and move from there. You don't want to penalize the girls because of adults. So a little bit more information needs to be had, and we're happy to help you as well with meetings and discussing this with parents who this may be an issue with, so we can get to the nitty gritty of what behaviors they're doing and what are they doing that's costing you booth sites, so it can be addressed. The next question, since TD Bank is not a council slot, can we ask them I believe so. Yep, we just don't have a council contract per se with them. So yes, if you have a TD Bank in your town, feel free to go ask them. So we don't need to get insurance for Dunkin' and Acme. I believe Shannon will be handling all the insurance requirements for each of our council booth sites. Dunkin' will give you the dates for that as well, kind of the same thing with Wawa and Acme, which locations are participating, what are their dates and their time slots. So you should not have to worry about any insurance certificates for council booth slots. If you were to go to TD Bank and they ask, then yes, you would have to submit a request because that's not a council slot. When will we find out about Acme and Dunkin' locations and times? Shannon is working with their corporate offices to get the dates and locations. So she is working with that. They all vary depending on when they approve them. So as soon as she has one, she's not holding them to bundle. As soon as she gets approvals for each one, she will be sending them out to you. And that goes the same with the cookie carts. We are still in the process of working on mall carts. So as soon as each location is ready to go, we will send that out to the service units who are in those areas and who are affected. Does the Walmart or Lowe's have to be in your jurisdiction? We don't have one in our town. So same thing, if you don't have an area in your town, if it's in the next town over, that's where good relationships with your service unit booth coordinators come in. If they have extra time slots, you can ask that they pass on any open time slots to you. Maybe you can work together. We know some of our areas kind of intersect. So, you know, we're doing this for the girls, so we want to remember that. And, you know, just keep that in mind. If for any of your locations, if it's not just a Walmart or a Lowe's, if you have extra slots to reach out to your counterparts in other service units. ShopRite is not a corporate booth sale, so if you have a ShopRite, feel free to reach out to them. Let's see, what else? Is there a group on TMAP just for cookie booth coordinators? Yep, so once TMAP, there will be a designated chat room just for cookie booth coordinators. Council usually sends out an Excel sheet with all that info to the CBCs that have agreed to have their info published. Yep, we'll do that again. Any service unit coordinator who is happy to have, whether it's their email or phone number, we will put that out and so that you can contact each other. It's definitely good to have just in case, if you know it's your local people, contact. If issues arise, you have somebody to get in touch with. So yeah, no, ShopRite is no longer coordinated by council. That's individually. There's many of them who are owned separately, so that's individual. Yeah, Shannon?
There are, I think it's 5 ShopRites, which I can send the list out, but they are council, but it's only like 5. But I'll send that list out to everybody.
So yeah, so Shannon will reach out to the 5 service units who do have a family of ShopRite stores to let them know that they want to be coordinated. And same thing with Acme, just let your troops know, please don't go to these locations. We're working on it. The Acme guides how many locations?
All Acme's within the council are going to be council run. There's no Acme that's not going to be council run.
So the Acme coordinator at their corporate level was very adamant. He does not want individual people going to every location. He's happily working with us, so just hold tight on Acme locations. So this is still some ShopRite. So Walmart has not been, it says Walmart has been coordinated the last 2 years by GSUSA, GSCSNJ. So we don't coordinate individual Walmart locations.
We just have an agreement to say like, hey, we have an agreement that they can do booths, but we don't coordinate the booths.
Yeah. So if they question it, if it's a new Walmart manager and has no idea what you're talking about, you can we can give you the Walmart Sam's Club contract or agreement that they've made with GSUSA, but they still do not have to allow it. But it's there to have. Usually most of them see that and are okay with that.
Yeah, we'll update to the app also.
Let's see. So Walmart, a lot of back and forth about individual ones, which is awesome. I'm glad to see you guys working out to share booths. Yep, we're going to send out the slides. The cost for the card reader. So Square Card Reader is free to the troop. You have to sign up.
The Square Card Reader, so the one that you will need to buy, I believe that one is the $49 one because it has the chip reader in there. I know when I first started, people was buying the $29 one, but now every card has a chip reader usually, so you would have to buy the $49 one. I'm not sure if they have a special going on sometimes, so we don't control the Square Card. Basically, if a troop, if it's their first year using the Square Card Reader, we have them fill out the application and make sure that they don't owe council any money. But it's only a one-time thing, so every year a troop doesn't have to reapply. But we just want to make sure that they don't owe any money. But when it comes to anything about the Square Card Reader, you have to contact the Square Card Reader company yourself.
Yeah, the percentages are the same. I believe we updated the form.
It's like 11 cents a box you get charged, but it's worth it in my opinion. Like if you can get somebody to buy 5 boxes instead of just one. So I hear a lot of good things from other service units who rave about it, who just can't see having a booth without it.
And you cannot, that 11 cents, whatever it is, you cannot add that to the cookie cost. So troops have to decide if it's worth them. You can't charge like $4.11 for a box because you have that extra card fee. So you just have to decide. And also, you're not allowed to let people type in their card number. Not only is that not safe, however, it charges more. So you're going to have more than 11 cents. When will we get cookie samples? Yes, every troop will get a box of lemonades, and service units next week at cookie training, service unit cookie managers will get 4 packets of the gluten-free chocolate chip, and you'll get an 8-pack sampler. So cookie managers, whoever was on our list, that's all been getting shipped out this week. I see some people have gotten them. If you haven't gotten them by the end of this week, let us know. And you can use your 8-pack sample any way you want. Some people do give them to stores with their letters. We have really cute cards this year. It's kind of like a save the date on the front and a little thank you note on the back, and then space for you to write out a little letter to your stores. Yes, Gladys, talk to Shannon if you're about an email filling out the form in Google Docs. So if you haven't gotten your supplies yet, give Shannon a call or an email, Town and Country. So that looks like they haven't gotten anything yet, and they're still shipping out. We've been getting stuff every day. Will we automatically add you to the right chat room, like cookie manager, cookie booth coordinator, and leader?
Yeah, so when you, so what's going to happen is when you go into the app, there's going to be, like, troops can automatically get access to it. They'll just click that they're a troop volunteer. But if you are a service unit volunteer, you will click if you're a booth coordinator or a service unit cookie manager. And what I do is I go over who signed up for the position, and then I make sure that I only accept those people. Sometimes if a SUM requests for it, I'll double check just to make sure that they're on that list too. But I do check it because the first year we did it, there was a lot of people in the service unit chat rooms that shouldn't be in there. So once you get to certain permissions, when I upload certain documents or create certain chat rooms, I will put who I will allow to have access to them, like what groups. So yes, you'll be a part of a particular group when you sign on to the app.
And everyone who, once you complete your agreement, service unit cookie booth coordinators will be added in Salesforce as that campaign. And service unit cookie managers will be added as well, so you'll see that on your MyGS once we have your signed agreement. How do you deal with troops going to stores on their own? Definitely make it clear, utilize your service unit means of communication, whether it's Facebook, leaders meetings, email, apps. Send a message out now, have your SUM send that out now saying cookie training is coming. In the meantime, do not go to stores on your own. We have a cookie booth coordinator. Stores heavily frown upon that, and they will say no to locations if multiple people come to them. So just politely say, you have a service unit team member for that. Please do not do it. If we get complaints that you're doing it, if we hear your name, we may have to deal with some conversations about that.
I mean, I find it that a lot of people, like, it's a lot of new troops who do it, like new leaders, and they're just really excited about it. So
Yeah, they don't understand.
Right, like people come into the store and they're like, okay, I started a troop and I want to go to my nail salon because I told them about it. I'm like, no, you have a booth coordinator for that. So a lot of times they don't understand that process. So I think it is a good idea to kind of send out some information now, like, hey, this is what we're doing, just to kind of give those new leaders a heads up who have no idea.
A lot of, how do you do picking? Most people do a lottery. You kind of get a number and the number gets picked and you go up. That seems to be the fairest way, but it's up to your service unit, and you can definitely communicate with each other if you found another fair way to do booth signups. Question, can adults be related at a cookie booth?
The only adults that could be related at a cookie booth are for Juliet, because she's a Juliet, so her parents can do the booth with her, but not for a regular cookie booth. They shouldn't be related.
Yeah, so just some other comments about receiving items. Yeah, you would have received emails from our niece or Shannon about delivery at addresses and things like that. So if by Friday you haven't, Monday at the latest, you haven't received any of your cookie materials, shoot Shannon an email so she can check with the sheet of the addresses, and we can look to see where those materials are at. If we didn't have an address, which I don't think we did.
It was only one service unit who I didn't have an address for.
So we have an address for everybody, so they could just be coming out. So let's see. This is just kind of a little bit about you're doing lotteries. ShopRite Zales is not a council booth anymore. No ShopRite.
No, she said
except for those 5. Oh, is
And
that
as soon as
okay. So I'm so sorry. So ShopRite Zales is still a council booth, but there's only 5. So we will reach out to those 5 service units who have a Zales ShopRite in their service unit. So Shannon is working with them currently. Sorry about that. Yes, Walmart's Book Quickly, reach out. This is why we do booth coordinator training first. Reach out to your locations now. We will be sending you out the details, even if it's phone calls. Like I said, next week, my goal by Tuesday, Wednesday at East Brunswick and Cherry Hill, we'll have your guides and your postcards. But if you want to start reaching out to your locations, feel free. You don't have to talk to us first, as long as it's not a council booth location. It is new for Acme. So Acme is a new council booth this year. That's from Colleen in Haddonfield. Yes, they want to offer all of their Acmes with no issues. They don't want people contacting them, so we are doing it as a council booth. Okay, let's see. You're registered and background checked with at least 3 months left on your background check. When your background check is up for renewal, you will get an email about renewing it with a link to do that. And yes, your old swiper may still work, the Square Card reader. It just depends on people's credit cards. Some credit card companies will, if it has a chip, it'll only work with a chip. I believe the chip is more secure, so eventually swipers won't work, but if it's still working, a lot of places still do swipe, so that's not an issue. So the Square Card app does have to be approved. We will get that on the app soon. If you want that emailed to you, we can email that to you before we upload it. But yes, troops have to fill out a form and send it in to Shannon before they apply for their Square Card reader.
That's only for first-time users. If they've been approved before, they do not need to reapply again.
Yep. Is there a transaction fee? So yes, so more details on the Square Card. It's like 2.75%,
like 11.
If you own a Square Card reader, can that be used for other non-cookie fundraisers as well?
I believe so. I would check with your service unit support specialist, but I believe there's troops who use it for dues or other things with their troops.
Yeah.
But I would just check with your service unit support specialist just to make sure. Yeah.
Yeah, because officially it should be going to your troop bank account. But if it's other things that have to do with your troop, that it's still Girl Scout related, I believe we have heard of people using them for other Girl Scout related things. There's no transaction fee for the reader if it's charged to your GS account. So that's something you can check with the Square. Originally, we know they had previous promotions for nonprofits and Girl Scouts. So once you reach out to Square to apply, you can see what promotions they have going on. What if you're doing webinar when you get gluten-free cookies? So I'm not really sure if that was Christine. If you can retype in your question. What if you're doing webinar when you get gluten-free cookies? I'm not really sure what that means. So the cookie manager does get the 8-pack sampler kit. I know some of them do give it to their booth coordinators. That's up between you and your cookie manager to decide what you want to do with your 8-pack sampler and your 4 gluten-free samples. Huge pile of boxes in my living room. Yep, I remember those days. Yes, gluten-free order, the deadline was already submitted. We've already placed that order. Gluten-free is not in the sample pack, but you will get 4 packs that you can sample out at your leader training, your leader meeting, whenever you're going over your cookies. Let's see. Please remind all not to go to PATCO. We almost lost it last year for all locations. Yes, so yeah, just keep reminding your troops they should not be going and asking places for locations. If they're willing to do that for their own troop, they should be willing to do that as a service unit booth coordinator. I have troops that say they won't give our council the booth, just our troop. So I'm not sure what that means, but there are some locations who know it's a friend or family and they will only allow the troops to do it if that's what you were going for. If the store owner is a friend or family member, that's their prerogative. They do not have to open their slots to all of the service unit. It's nice and it would be great if they do, but they don't have to. Okay, we told anyone interested in talking to a business can join our cookie team so they can learn the rules, have an official letter. I'm not really sure, is the related question written anywhere? So I'm not sure if that's just a response to something else. Will gluten-free sampler be sent to the Girl Scout store or shipped separately? We will be giving the gluten-free 4-packs to the cookie managers at next week's training. We've answered ShopRite Zales, that's still a council booth. Yeah, so service unit cookie managers get the cookies. They can work with the booth coordinators to decide what to do with those samples. No New Jersey Transit train stations this year. They weren't successful in the past.
Wait, I don't.
NJ Transit?
I think was Louisa doing it? I don't remember. I can't remember. So
we may have had a service unit who went on her own to set it up. We will not be coordinating that. So if that's something you have a very busy station, you can absolutely try for your service unit and let us know if you need our assistance. But we won't be coordinating it as a service unit, as a council. Next week's meeting, so Tuesday, the cookie manager training is in Cherry Hill, Tuesday night. Wednesday, it's in East Brunswick, and then Thursday is the webinar. Whitehorse Yardville received no information. So whoever signed up as the Whitehorse Yardville cookie manager should have gotten an email, and we will be emailing out everybody by the end of this week, reminding them to attend next week. So gluten-free cookies are coming next week to the cookie managers. If you are doing the cookie manager and you're doing the webinar, how do you get new cookies? So if you can't attend the in-person meeting, we will follow up with you to see what location you want us to leave your materials. So we will, either Cherry Hill, East Brunswick, or Egg Harbor, we will send your materials marked with your name on it after next week's webinar to whoever could not attend the in-person trainings. If you know in advance that you're attending the webinar, and Shannon will follow up with everybody, and you would like your stuff left in East Brunswick or Cherry Hill, you can let us know and we can package that for next week so that it's there. If the gluten-free cookie is a hit, will you be able to order more? No. It's a timed ordering. It's a limited bakery, a small bakery. Kathy can touch on that, but we'd have to pre-order, and it is what it is. So if you find out that they're a hit, you can always look on the team app, the Cookies app, for troops who may be trying to swap them. I will say that a lot more troops ordered more this year, so more and more troops will have them available. So you can always look to see if there's a troop who would like to trade them, transfer them to you. I need to see if it's related anywhere that adults cannot be related. So for Juliet's, we do allow adults to be related as long as they are registered and background checked if they're handling money. Why is the Cookie Manager training live and in person and ours is not? I believe the past few years we're getting less and less participation at live Cookie Booth Coordinator meetings. If this is something you're interested in for next year, as many of you know, I'm not new to product program, I'm back to product program after 3 years. This is definitely something we can take into consideration for next year. And if the consensus would like an in-person meeting, we are happy to put one on. So definitely let us know that feedback after tonight. Send materials. Yep. So if you're not sure of if your materials haven't come, again, just email us and we will let you know what address they are going to for your service unit. If there are 3 adults at a booth, 2 can be related. Yes. That looks to me like that's the end of any questions I received. Let's see, anyone else have any more questions coming in? Thank you all to everyone who came on tonight. Again, we will be sending you out the slides, the booth guidebook. We'll send you a printed guidebook and postcards. If you know you're attending the webinar and you have a specific location because somebody is not attending in person next week, send Shannon an email and we will have your items starting next Tuesday at Cherry Hill and next Wednesday in East Brunswick. After that, Wednesday, they will get sent down to Egg Harbor. If ShopRite of Medford, if that's Zallie's, then no, don't contact it. So April Ritchie, shoot Shannon a message and she will confirm, but if it is owned by the Zallie's family, then yes, they want to coordinate through us. And like I said, any specific service unit questions, feel free to email. Shannon will be your point person and then she will confirm with us any questions. Do we think we will get Acme dates and times soon?
We're coordinating it right now. We're just about done. I would say just give me about a couple more weeks, but it's almost all coordinated.
Acme is not the whole 8 weeks. Acme is 2 weekends and 2 weeknights, correct?
It's 4, I believe, if I remember off the top of my head, it's going to be 3 Saturdays, 3 Sundays, and 4 weekdays.
Yep, so Acme 3 Saturdays, 3 Sundays, and 4 weekdays. So it will be set dates. They're giving us a list of all of their Acmes who are allowed for those dates, and they're trying it out this year and seeing how it works. And then possibly next year, adding more. So obviously something happened with Acme and they want to have it controlled through us this year. So yeah, Colleen, I see that. I'm not really sure offhand. We don't know the date, Super Bowl weekend. I know we tried to pick dates early in the season because of, more people want more booths early in the season, but this Acme is corporate and again, we don't specifically know why, but they did contact us and they made it clear to us that they wanted it to be a council booth sale. They wanted to handle the timing and everything else. We are trying, we know there's a couple Royal Farms. We are trying to follow up with Royal Farms to see if that's the case. In the meantime, if you do have a Royal Farms in your area, feel free to go and contact them. I know they're pretty busy locations. but we haven't had any success yet with setting up a Royal Farm. So feel free to do that. We know they're pretty busy in the South right now. Yeah, and if you see that if you had a lot of troops not following rules, unfortunately, that's the consequence of that happening. If there's too many girls, if it's too rowdy, if it's too loud, if they get customer complaints, businesses will stop letting us use booths. So if you know for sure that you've lost locations because of that, that is definitely something to communicate with your troop leaders. And make sure they communicate that with their troop parents, because a lot of times it's not troop leaders attending, it's other parents. And, making it clear that if behaviors continue, if we keep getting complaints, we're going to continue to lose more locations. And at some point, we will have to stop troops from having booths if they can't follow the rules. So yeah, hopefully Acme will work out well this year, and they'll give us some more dates for next year. But this is just something they want to try out this year. Any other questions?
Is it closed?
Oh, it's closed. Can you see that? I don't know if the key. Is there times we should limit to 12 to 5? No, you pretty much work with your businesses to see. That you pretty much work with the businesses to see what time they want you to be there. If night hours are okay, if the business is willing to. I know when I used to do this, the older girls did night hours, so you also don't want to be there if it's a dead time. If the business doesn't have a lot of traffic, you don't want to waste your girls' time. So if you have some locations that are busy on nights and weekends, absolutely ask the businesses if you can be there during times. It doesn't have to be restricted to mornings and afternoons only, but you also don't want to be somewhere that's slow. Any other questions? Okay, well, thank you all so much for coming on tonight. We will be getting you all of this information out as soon as possible. Please feel free to reach out to us with any questions or support. We are here to help you. And if you have a trouble with the location and they want to talk to council, or they need some more, information, like I said, please feel free to reach out to us. We are here to help you and answer any of the questions you may have. So with that, we're going to say goodnight, and we will be hearing from Shannon shortly with the slides and extra documents. Trying to go to the next slide.